Madam Deputy Speaker, I would like to apologise to our friends from Japan and Vietnam who had to listen to that diatribe.
To apologise on our behalf. I wonder what our Richard Thomson said to send our Kemi Badenoch into a bit of a lather. Also, I've got to ask, is this one of the best brilliant Brexit and CPTPP takedowns so far? Also, hello there, I do hope you're all well. Well, this is from Monday this week, where our Secretary of State for International Trade was making a statement for the conclusion of the CPTPP negotiations, or whatever you like to call them. Then Shadow Secretary Nick Symonds, as you saw in early videos, poked holes in this turd sandwich. Then SNP MP for Gorden, great name is that, quite like that. Richard Thomson, he went route one, went straight for the jugular, no messing, and blew the bloody doors off. Enjoy, my friends.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and can I thank the Secretary of State for advance sight of her statement as well. But no matter how the Secretary of State tries to dress this up, the CPTPP is still going to be a low standards agreement which lacks adequate safeguards and which represents a poor substitute for all the trade deals that we've left behind. And if this represents the future, then it's absolutely no wonder that people in Scotland certainly are looking for a different future in that regard. Now the ministers, previous ministers, a previous Brexit Secretary no less, failed to understand that the importance that the role of the Port of Dover played in terms of UK imports and exports. So I wouldn't normally consider this necessary, but I feel it may be necessary to some of the sedentary chunterers across the chamber to explain that the Pacific is quite some distance away from the UK. Which is why even the government's own forecasts are predicting that UK emissions of greenhouse gases will increase as a result of this deal. It threatens UK food standards because pesticides which are banned in the UK for health and environmental reasons, the door could be open to those coming in. And it also, worryingly, includes text about investor-state dispute settlement clauses with all the implications that that carries. And for absolutely what? The Minister can dance on the head of a pin about the difference between models and forecasts, but it still is a pale imitation of the trade deals that we have left behind and the 4% hit to GDP from Brexit. So could I ask the Minister this? Why is the government so desperate to agree a deal which carries so many risks for so few potential rewards? Where is the support for the domestic agri-food sector? And finally, the RSPCA, ActionAid, Fair Trade and Trade Justice movement all say the deal is one which makes a mockery of this government's sustainable trade goals. Are they wrong?
Madam Deputy Speaker, I would like to apologise to our friends from Japan and Vietnam who had to listen to that diatribe.
To apologise on our behalf. I thought you were one of these matter-of-fact kind of people, say it as it is. Or not when it suits you, then I'd take it.
Listen to the gentleman, the honourable gentleman opposite, call this a low standards trade deal. It's just embarrassing and, quite frankly, really, really poor for diplomacy. This is a high standards deal. And I know it's a high standards deal, Madam Deputy Speaker, because we went through agony in order to make sure that we could meet the high thresholds which the countries had set for us. It is completely untrue to say that this deal lowers food standards. Food standards are not part of a free trade agreement. This is not the EU. We are not joining a political union. Our regulations stay in the UK, and it's something that fundamentally SNP and other members don't understand. We make the rules about our food standards. We make the rules, and that means that if something does not meet UK food standards, it cannot be bought and sold into this country. What this deal is about is trade. It is not about regulation. And I think if Scotch whisky representatives and other Scottish exporters had to listen to what he had to say, they would be most incredibly disappointed. He doesn't understand trade, Madam Deputy Speaker. He's just yet another person who's read a press release from campaign groups, hasn't tested the arguments, and I'm very happy to stand at the dispatch box and rebut all that rubbish.
What absolute nonsense. But I've got to say, Richard Thomson, a low standard agreement. Richard, don't sit on the fence. Tell us what you really think. you sit on that fence any longer, you'll be shitting splinters. Only kidding. But no wonder you want to leave this car crash of a parliament and forge your own way in the world. I would do too. Also, a fantastic use of our useless deck chair Dom and his lack of understanding with the Port of Dover. Brilliant, with the fact that these countries, they're at the other side of the world, and, well, yeah, gravity and geography matters in trade, as well as when it comes to our carbon footprint as well. Also love the way he used the word chunteres. Nice one. And I would love to see our Kemi Badenoch also dance on the head of a pin as well. I think that'd be quite humorous. As well as she's trying to defend the fact that we all know our standards are likely to be dropped as well, because we're in a weak state, aren't we? But Kemi, you've no need to apologise to Japan and Vietnam. You should be apologising to the nation for this absolute skip fire yourself and your shower of this government have dropped on all of us. Also, Kemi, isn't that being a bit woke? Ain't you now showing concern for others? Well, welcome aboard, Kemi. You are now one of us, a fully paid up member of the tofu eating, Guardian reading, wokerati. I was spouting on about this high standards deal. I know what she is high on. The steam of what she is shoveling, because she's talking out of her arse, isn't she? And she's fooling nobody with a rational mind with what she is spreading. Also, Kemi, you say Richard Thomson doesn't understand trade. Well, judging by the final International Trade Committee meeting yesterday that I watched, neither do you. But that's for a few videos later on down the road, starting with the one later on. And believe me, it's absolutely brilliant. And all I can say is I would love to have a bit of whatever our Secretary of State for International Trade is on, because she's living in Gaga land. Absolutely off her chomp. But anyway, I shall leave the video here, and until the next time I shall bid you farewell and take care, my friends.